Hey guys, what's up? My name's Maddie. If you are new here, how's it going? Hope everyone is doing well today. So I am coming at you live from my backyard in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I posted a couple other videos about it, so if you want to check those out, feel free. But basically, okay, I tried to film this yesterday and it was a freaking mess. Sorry, I just had like an allergy attack and then there's a bug. So this is going to be another run through. So without further ado, I'm going to be talking about the culture shocks, kind of like the reverse culture shocks that I experience when I come back to the United States as an American citizen after living abroad in France. So let's not waste any time today. First way that I experience culture shock is actually in the airport. When I first arrived, for example, when I arrived in Chicago like 3 weeks ago, you hear all these Americans around you talking. Whenever I'm in France and I hear Americans talking, I'm like, oh, like I wonder where they're from. Are they tourists? Wonder what they're doing here. But in Chicago, it's like, yeah, no shit, everyone's an American. So that's definitely a way that I kind of experience culture shock, is just being surrounded by Americans. And I don't want to, like, obviously speaking English is not a culture shock, like, but sometimes I will say that when I first get to the United States and I like bump into someone, I'll say like, oh pardon, like just out of force of habit. And I usually do that for the first like couple days that I'm home. Also, I just want to apologize in advance if this audio is absolute trash. I know that there are some machines going on around me, an air conditioning, a pool pump perhaps. There's bugs, there's birds. We're in the nature, we're in the outdoors. But you know what, guys, we're making it work. So please bear with me. And with that being said, I think this leads perfectly into my next point, which is being chatty. That's definitely a big culture shock, because in France, that's not really part of the culture. As in, when you go to pay at the cash register, when you have a waiter or waitress, they're not going to be like, how's your day going? How are you? What's up? Where are you from? Things like that. Like, they're not going to chat with you. In the United States, I feel like that's such a big part of the culture, is being like, hey, how's it going? How's your day going? And it's nothing deep. I think we make a lot more small talk. There's a lot more chatter. And I think that's why kind of French people get the stereotype of being rude, is because they don't like to chit chat with Americans. They're just much more to the book. They don't chat. So yeah, so definitely being chatty, that's a culture shock when I come back. The third one, wearing shoes inside. So whenever I first arrive home, I usually leave my shoes at the door because it's become a force of habit. And I know this isn't exclusively a European cultural thing. A lot of other cultures do it as well, but in Europe, I assume everywhere in Europe, but especially in France, you don't really wear your shoes inside, around your apartment, around your house. You need to take them off when you come in someone's home. When I was an au pair, the first day that I arrived, my host mom was showing me to my room and I had my tennis shoes on. We go upstairs and I get to my room and she's like, oh, just so you know, we really don't wear shoes upstairs ever. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So basically after that, so when I come home and everyone's wearing shoes indoors, it's so weird to me. And also, if you think about it, it's pretty unsanitary, kind of gross. There's like dog poop, there's pee, there's dirt. Like, it's actually a pretty unsanitary practice. So I think that, in 2020, 2021, let's stop wearing our shoes inside, guys. Get it trending. Okay, so the next one is, I know this could also be, so I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. This could be more specific to the Midwest. Yes, I consider Tulsa the Midwest. I don't consider it the South. That is a very contentious topic between me and some of my friends. But yeah, so the next point is athleisure and kind of dressing like a slob. So in Paris, like if like Kira or Taylor or any of my friends were like, hey, we're gonna go out, we're gonna get a coffee, we're gonna have a picnic, we're gonna go to a restaurant, I would like dress up in the sense that I would put on like a shirt and pants and I would put on shoes. Like, I wouldn't just go out in this, like a t-shirt and leggings. You don't really see people in Paris going out in just kind of looking like a slob unless they are like specifically going to go work out. Like, they wear athletic clothes to work out. The rest, oh no. Don't bring a tripod, I said. You won't need it, I said. Okay, so anyways, so yeah, you don't really see people like being a slob, just like wearing whatever. So you definitely have more of the culture of like dressing up and, yeah, just like, you know, turning out a look in Paris, honestly. That is actually a pretty big one that I experience when I come home, is just kind of like not dressing like a slob. Not that like nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you dress like that in the United States, no hate, no tea, but you know, that's just the difference. The next culture shock that I experience is being super cold from the AC, from the air conditioner. Whenever I come home, I'm literally freezing all the time in restaurants, in my home. I feel like, I mean, it's obviously in the summertime, I'm always like in a hoodie and pants, and people are like, oh, you cold? Yes, because it's freezing in here. And this is actually something that my Swedish friend and her boyfriend, who's French, when they came to the United States, they said the same thing, is that they were just shocked about how cold it is everywhere, because there really isn't a lot of air conditioning in the in France. Like, of course there is in some places, more like commercial buildings, commercial businesses, museums, things like that. But largely there is not AC in people's private homes. So like, you open a window, you let the breeze come in. It's actually quite nice, and it's definitely doable. It actually kind of like irks me a little bit when Americans make such a big deal about the AC, and like, I cannot come, like, oh my gosh, I would die without the AC. I assure you, you will not die. It's totally fine. Yes, it does get a little bit uncomfortable sometimes, especially when there's a canicule. That is like a heat wave, so in French. So yeah, but you definitely can make it work, no big deal, but that is definitely kind of a shock whenever I come home. So the next one is the lack of public transportation. So obviously this doesn't shock me, and obviously this is specific to where I live, but yeah, just like driving everywhere. I guess maybe that's a better way to phrase it, is driving everywhere. You have to drive to the store to see your friends, to go grab a coffee. Everything is driving, and you really get used to just being able to, like, you know, walk down the street, walk to the store, or take like the metro or a train to go see your friends, and it really is so nice. And like I said, I know this is specific to where I'm from. I know there is public transportation, better public transportation in other parts of the country, but in Oklahoma and Tulsa specifically, there really isn't. So that's something that I wish that Tulsa and any other parts of the country would step up their game on. You know, it's better for the environment, can cut down on like DUIs and things like that, because you go to your friend's house, you have a few G&Ts or 7, you get back on the train, you go home. No big deal. Love it. The next one is like really short and silly. I'm not going to explain it a lot, but sales tax. In the United States, if you see, well, in Oklahoma specifically, I mean, I know it's different in different states, but if you go to a store and something says, or you go to buy a coffee and it says it's going to be $6, when you go to pay for it, it's going to be $6 and however many cents. In France, when you go to buy a coffee and it says it's going to be €5, you hand them a €5 and that's it. Like, there's no change. It's exact, so you know exactly what you're paying when you go to a store, when you go to a coffee shop. So that's just a little difference. So the next thing that kind of surprises me or shocks me whenever I come home is like the one-stop shop kind of culture. Like Target, Walmart, super Walmart. These places where you can go in and you can get everything you want. In France, there's much more of a culture of like the butcher, the fromagerie, the cheese store, the bakery, you know, like there's just a lot more. It's like you go to these specific places to get a specific thing. You have to go to the pharmacy to get specific medicine. You can't get medicine at the grocery store. It's completely separate. So a couple days ago, I was at the grocery store at a Reese's, in case you were curious, and my mom texted me and said, hey, can you get some Benadryl? And I was like, yeah, sure. And in my mind, I was like, oh, okay, I'll have to stop at Walgreens on my way home. And then I remembered, oh no, this Reese's has a whole ass pharmacy aisle here, so I can get whatever I want, one-stop shop. I definitely think that speaks to like this culture of kind of like convenience and things like that. Like, we want everything to be in one place, one time. We want it fast, we want it now. And I actually do think there's a lot of benefits to being more intentional about, okay, I'm gonna go get my meat from this store, I'm gonna go get my cheese from this store, it's gonna be like a specialty good, maybe I'm gonna go to the farmer's market and things like that. So it's just different. So definitely the one-stop shop kind of mentality, that's way different. Okay, so this next one is very timely, which is kind of, I don't know, this will definitely date this video and show what the time, I don't know what I'm trying to say. People not wearing masks. Yeah, so like in France, largely from what I've witnessed, people have really just kind of bought into, or like just kind of, like, people just wear masks. They just wear them in the store. I mean, you have to, it's obligatory. But in in the United States, in Tulsa specifically, it also is required in stores here, but I see a lot of people not wearing them, which is very troubling. Like, and I think, I get it. I get that the store clerks and the store workers who are getting paid, the minimum wage in Oklahoma is $7.25 an hour, by the way. So, great. These workers who are getting paid $7.25 an hour, they don't want to tussle with these people that are just gonna like say that their rights are being infringed upon, you know? So, I get workers not wanting to confront them, but I just am really mind boggled. Perhaps people are just forgetting, but there's signs everywhere and everyone else in the vicinity is wearing a mask. I promise you people, wearing a piece of fabric over your face is not an infringement on your freedom. Truly, truly it's not, okay? Like, ugh. So that brings me to my last point, and that is, this one really, okay, it doesn't infuriate me, like it's not that deep, but the plastic bags. Once again, a couple days ago, went to the store, went to go buy some coffee, get the coffee in the, you know, the ground, whatever thing, go to the checkout. I buy the coffee, and before I could react, I was bamboozled, and she puts the coffee in a plastic bag and hands it to me. Because in my mind, I'm not thinking she's gonna give me a bag, I'm thinking she's just gonna hand it to me. Because in France, there's literally not even an option for a plastic bag. They don't exist. If you want to put your groceries in a bag, you have to buy bags. You will either have to buy a small paper bag or a big reusable bag. Like there's no paying per plastic bag. It's like you have to buy a whole ass other bag. So you might as well bring your own. I think everyone who can afford it, I do know that being able to buy reusable bags, that might be like an expense that not everyone can pay. So I think that everyone that can afford it, that has that luxury, that has that privilege, should be doing that. I mean, or when you go to the store, if you buy a small item, just don't get a bag. Say no bag, please. I don't know, but the plastic bag thing, whenever I see it, people just putting their groceries in a plastic bag, I'm like you don't care? You don't think about it? It's really jarring, especially coming from a country where they just don't have them. Like, they're making it work. It's okay. Everyone survives. It's fine. That's definitely a big one that really kind of shocks me whenever I come back. Hi everyone. This is Maddie from the future. I just realized a very important one that I actually talked about. I think my friend Kira talks about in one of her videos about culture shock, and also my mom was just asking me if I wanted to have a cocktail with her, and I was like, yes. And that's one of the big things is not getting carded. In France, you never get carded. In the United States, you always get carded. Like, you literally cannot get alcohol without getting carded unless you literally look like you're extremely mature. Anyway, so I just thought I would am I gonna include that? Yeah, I am. Anyway, so I thought I would just include that really fast because I thought it was really important. So, long story short, getting carded, you always get carded in the United States. In France, you never get carded for alcohol, for buying cocktails. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Bye. Okay, so those are my kind of 10 culture shocks that I see, that I feel whenever I come home from France to the United States. Before I go though, I just really quickly wanted to plug. So there is a bookstore in Tulsa, Oklahoma that I was finally able to visit, and it is called Fulton Street Books. They have an ally box, which I will link below, where they send out a couple books. I believe it's a monthly subscription, so you get it every month, to help you with your anti-racism work, and just, some fabulous books. So this is a book that I picked up yesterday, by Yazi. She's from Ghana, and her first novel, Homegoing, was so good, but Roxane Gay, the author of Bad Feminist, said that this is even better. She said it's so good it like made her mad, and that intrigued me. So I picked this up, and I think that if you are looking to, I hope that everyone is still, even though I feel like things have kind of died down on social media a little bit, I hope that everyone is still trying to support Black businesses, Black authors, Black creators, and just supporting people who are doing amazing work. You know what I'm saying? Like, the bookstore is beautiful. I don't think the coffee shop side is open yet, but it probably will be soon. So if you're in Tulsa, check them out. Order the allyship box. But yeah, so I just wanted to plug that really fast. And but thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know like what your culture shocks are when you either go to France or come back to the United States. Is there anything I missed? Is there anything you disagree with? That's totally the same and I'm just an idiot. If my phone falls one more time, I'm literally gonna scream, so I'm just gonna hold it. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Toodles.